All right, what is up, everybody? Me and my brother just finished watching the new season of Record of Ragnarok last night. Today, I'm going to go over my thoughts and opinions on the series with you guys and give you guys a heads up on whether I think it's something you would enjoy or not. And I guess that kind of all depends on if you're a fan of the series or not, because ultimately, at the end of the day, the series isn't changing what it's doing a whole lot. So let's jump into a 5-minute anime review and just real quickly run through my thoughts and opinions on this season. So Record of Ragnarok Season 3 really, like I said, doesn't change its trademark a whole lot in this third season. We get our kind of the same thing we've got in the first two seasons, where we've basically got 3 fights throughout the season with 3 different humans and 3 different gods having fights to ultimately decide the fate of the world. I'm not going to give away who's fighting in the season, because for me, at least anyway, that is one of the biggest draws for the series to this point. I love to see who they're pitting against each other and how they kind of duke it out, how the fights break down, what their weapons kind of look like and their abilities. And I think that's, in my opinion, one of the most fun parts of the series as a whole. I think, honestly, the fact that they do a pretty good job of keeping the rounds relatively close and the advantages in the overall battle in terms of who has the lead in rounds and fights and stuff like that. So you kind of, it does a solid job of keeping you unsure of who's going to win on a fight-by-fight basis. But at the same time, with that in mind, you kind of understand that neither side's really going to run away with it, considering you almost expect the thing to go the maximum number of rounds. But you just don't expect to see the gods or the humans go on a big streak here and end up winning the overall contest by 4 fights. You're going to expect them to be within a point of each other throughout, one way or the other. And at the end of the day, I think this season is setting up for what the penultimate fight of the tournament, Ragnarok, is going to be. Well, the first 2 seasons were, honestly, more or less pretty simple in terms of it just being a lot of fighting. There was not a whole lot of, I guess, world building outside of, hey, these guys are fighting for this cause and this is about it. This season they introduce a little bit more. There's a kind of some depth to the story outside of the fighting, and you kind of start to learn a little bit about why this whole thing is going down. And ultimately you get kind of a look into some characters that I think are going to end up being what I assume will be the last fight of the series. Now, that's just a prediction. There's nothing saying that's exactly what's going to happen, but there is, like I said, there is a build-up throughout the 15 episodes of Season 3 that kind of leads you into a mental headspace. Hey, maybe this is where the series is going to wind up for the final match. For those curious, I also suggest after you finish the final episode of the season, stick around, because there is a post-credit scene, much like there was at the end of Season 1, setting up Season 2's starting point. And I think kind of similarly where Season 2 ended up setting up Season 3's starting point. So you get the picture. It kind of gives you who the combatants are going to be for the first fight of Season 4, should we get it. Now, with all the simple stuff kind of in mind and out of the way, I'm going to talk about some of the things that I was concerned about and some of the relief I got in seeing how the show was animated and adapted. For me personally, in Season 2, I found the Hercules versus Jack the Ripper fight to be a little lackluster. And that's only because I have a really, really nitpicky personality about CGI. I struggle really, really badly with CGI, especially when it's not well done. And going into Season 3, concerned that the 8th fight, which has a character that I was really looking forward to in the fight, I was worried about the heavy use of CGI for that fight. And I was actually pleasantly surprised. I thought the CGI for Season 3, when used, was very well done. I didn't think it was super jarring. I thought it actually looked pretty damn good. And maybe this is just because I have been watching Wandance and seen how bad CGI can be, so my tolerance for it has shifted quite in the other direction. But all this kind of smaller nitpicky stuff aside, If you enjoyed Season 1 and Season 2 of Record of Ragnarok, you would enjoy Season 3. I thought all 3 fights were very well done and super fun to watch. I thought the outcomes were pretty fair. Sometimes there have been fights in the series where I felt, they felt a little unfair. I'm looking at you, Adam versus Zeus. But for the most part, I thought there wasn't anything that like super jumped off the page to me as being, man, like that's bullshit. I know my brother has a little bit of a different opinion with the way the ninth fight ended, but I was pretty fine with it. It is what it is. And while bearing all that in mind, you got to go into Record of Ragnarok knowing what you're getting. It's not something that's going to have top of the line animation. With that being said, we're kind of starting to ramble into an overall like series picture here, and it's not really the intention. I wanted to talk specifically about Season 3, and I think I've got most of my thoughts about this third season, this third installment out on paper here at this point. As has been the case with Season 1 and Season 2, I've come back and looked forward to the new season every time it's been announced. And when they announce the 4th season, I will very much be looking forward to it again. I really, honestly, like I said, if you have been a fan of the rest of the series, you'll like Season 3. The formula is not changing, and I think that's a very good thing because it's a fun show as it is, and I don't think they need to change much. I do, like I said, love the, next level world building a little bit, kind of getting some inside information on more of the characters and some of the stuff involved in why the whole shindig is breaking down. Me personally, I gave it a 77 on AniList out of 100. That being said, we're going to wrap the video up. Again, if you enjoy the series, if you enjoy the Record of Ragnarok world, definitely give Season 3 a watch because it is more of the same, and I think you would be disappointed if you did not watch it. And with that, let's wrap up this 5-minute anime review. I will catch you guys all on the next one.